But yeah, it's a really good field. It's a really good field. Santa Clara and Oregon, obviously in the other game. But our focus right now is obviously a really good Alabama team. So we're excited about getting down there. Excited about the weekend.
Just yeah, obviously Alabama's going to be one of the biggest tests you faced so far. Just what are you looking for from the team? What are the areas you're looking for growth in that game?
Well, I think they're. I mean, it's likely to be the best offense we play all year. I think that's pretty likely. Their pace, the way they can put Nelson in difficult situations for you to guard, their personnel's very good. Their scheme's great. They've got older guards. One that's been with them, and then obviously a transfer that's playing really well for them now, and then the big transfer in Nelson. So they've got great shooting, great floor spacing, and I think overall, we're just looking to continue to improve on the things that we talked about we needed to improve on. And I think we made some strides in the last game. We're going to keep doing that.
Then obviously, there's a decent chance you won't be able to watch it, but do you have a score prediction for the rivalry game on Saturday?
It's going to be an unbelievable contest, and I'm not in the prediction game, but I think we're going to play really well. I think we are playing really well right now, and I think we're peaking at the right time, and I know Ryan's going to have those guys ready. I know they're going to be ready. I can't wait.
Thank you.
With the way that they play, I know that I was looking at some of their numbers. They're about the same pace that they've been. They're making half of their threes. They haven't shot quite as many threes this season as they have in some years past. Like, is there anything as you prepared for them that looks any different than previous years? Kind of what we know Alabama to look like under Nate.
I mean, their personnel is a little bit different, but they're, much like college basketball, and every team they've added, transfers that are making a real impact for them. One on the perimeter, one obviously kind of inside and outside. So it's a lot of similarities, but yeah, I don't think they're shooting quite as many threes with Quinterly transferring out. I don't think they're shooting quite as many threes as what they did last year. Obviously, they lost an NBA first pick. So, but they're still a high volume 3-point shooting team, and to your point, they're really accurate right now.
And when you're playing a team that plays the way that they play, I'm sure you want to impose your style, or I know you want to play faster than you have in the past, but when you're going against a team that plays with that kind of pace and that kind of offensive efficiency, how much do you have to assume we can take some things away, and also we might have to play a little bit out of our comfort zone to match some of what they do?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be aggressive. We're not going to change up too much of how we play. We're going to be aggressive, and thought we played with great pace last game, and it was good to be able to see a man defense for the first time. And we saw one against A&M, but it was a little bit unique. So we're going to play with great pace, play with aggressiveness. I think defensively is going to be the challenge in terms of just figuring out how to slow down what they do, which like I said, they've got really good personnel and great spacing.
Yeah, so obviously this trip is a pretty good opportunity for you guys on the court, but I guess maybe like off the court, like what do you think it could do for your group, just like maybe chemistry wise?
Yeah, I mean, I think these trips are always good because you just get a chance to spend a little more time together. And you're away for Thanksgiving. That's why I've always loved these trips. I think anytime you're taking a road trip and you're playing good teams in a good field, I think that's a great opportunity to learn about how your guys prepare. And there'll be some downtime too, for sure. We'll find a way to get our guys to enjoy Thanksgiving but it'll be it'll be a focused group, and I think the guys understand it's a business trip and we're there to compete well for 2 games.
Yeah, I guess like just assessing the last couple of weeks, first 2 weeks of the season, how would you, I guess, assess the chemistry of the team?
Good. Yeah, I think it's really good right now. I think it's really good. I think I got asked that after the game, and a lot of that gets tested and challenged once you go through, the normal ups and downs. I think I've shared that I was at UConn, lost 7 out of 8 last year in the middle of the season. Something wild. Had a really difficult stretch, 6 out of 7, or whatever it was. So that really gets tested. Obviously, they came through with flying colors. So all that stuff gets tested once you go through long stretches of a challenging part of the season. So I'm excited to see, but it's been great so far.
How much do you coach your guys in a game like this against an offense like this, not to just go out and start chucking threes to try to maybe keep pace with the volume they might shoot?
Yeah, I think there's an element of understanding, kind of what our game plan is, but guys have to be aggressive too. I don't think you want to have a group that's passive in any way. So it's going to be a faster paced game for sure, and I think we understand that. At the same time, you have to be smart in terms of the pockets of the game where maybe there's been some segments where it hasn't been as productive as you needed to, but. I don't think you can go into a game like this, especially nowadays, being too much out of character of how you've coached your guys for the last, several weeks.
And we've talked a lot about the zone defenses that you've gone against and how that's forced you to maybe play your offense a little bit differently than you will for the bulk of the season. Defensively, are there things that you've been able to do against these first four opponents that will help you and be more prepared for how Alabama will play, as opposed to, like I said, offensively have been a bit of a different.
Yeah, I mean, they do some things that you don't see as much. We saw it some in Big Ten play and some opponents last year, but they do some small on small pick and roll that I think is a little bit unique. Without getting too much into the weeds, I think that puts some challenges to your defense that you've got to have a better. I think it just forces you to introduce some things to your guys that maybe you haven't prepared for as much because it's a little bit unique. But outside of that, it's a lot of the same key principles of we have to be great in our transition offense and our transition defense. We have to be a great rebounding team. We've got to keep the ball in front and challenge shooters.
Back to the kind of the chemistry thing. I know you as coaches promote that. You want guys doing that, but you need buy-in. You need some leaders, right, to help you cast with your vision for that. What guys are, one guy, 2, 3 guys are really helping you do that?
Well, I think the guys that were here last year, that sophomore class in particular, and Zed are guys that I think are playing an important role in that right now, and that have a good understanding of what we expect and have been able to communicate that to the new guys.
Yeah, and the new guys come in real receptive and wanting to be a part of this. If you had nobody's held back anything, they're just like, I want to be here.
I doubt I'd say it if that was the case.
Probably true.
But no, so far so good. Yeah, it's really been, again, that's going to get tested as we go through stuff, buy-in, role buy-in, understanding how we do things. There's been normal coaching challenges that you have when you coach a group, but really nothing significant up to this point. It's been good. I thought our guys' response to the A&M game, where we played really well in stretches but came up short, was good. We came back to work the next day, and I thought all that stuff was so far so good.
Yeah, because that could get tested Friday if
Sure.
because you got to turn around and play the next day, right? Whereas you had a little time after the A&M game, so that's why you're looking at this as this test and get us ready.
Yeah, you see that a lot right now in college basketball. Just in some cases, outlier scores. I heard a coach say the other night, I think he lost a bye game, and he said, we got to make sure we can't lose twice. And you hear that from coaches, this can't beat us twice. And the reality is, I think you've got to be able to respond in the moment and make sure you're learning the lessons from the game, whether it's a tough, hard-fought game or just a game that gets away from you. You saw some games in these Thanksgiving tournaments last night where, two good teams, I watched the Wisconsin-Virginia game. It's two good teams. Wisconsin just played really well and got them. So the challenge is, whether you're Wisconsin or Virginia, how you respond the next day and coming back and preparing. And that's where you really do learn more about your group. And that's why I like these tournaments, because you do get a chance to really figure some of those things out and grow as a group.
Figured out a tournament yet for next year?
Yeah, we do have them, Adam. And I would actually let the cat out of the bag if I could remember what it was, but I can't right now. So,
Any idea what state?
I believe it will be down south again, but ask me next time, and I'll try to give you an answer on that.
I had a couple of people who've watched the last couple of games say they've really enjoyed watching Roddy. They described him as just a really fun player, and I know fans probably have different views of what's a fun player compared to coaches. I can think of some guys you've coached that you might have enjoyed.
Yeah.
What would you think in general, just that assessment that his game lends itself to being a pretty fun player for fans to maybe gravitate toward?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do think he's fun. I think his athleticism, just elicits some of that enjoyment of watching him. He's a good athlete, and he's also a kid who's a very willing passer. So he's not a selfish kid. I think fans appreciate that. He's got really good versatility. And I think, one of the exciting things about this sophomore class is you get a chance to see these guys grow. And we've talked about that. And, okay, we saw Bruce and Roddy and Felix a lot. We're going to see Evan a lot this year. But now you get to see him take on a bigger role. And that's exciting for Roddy and all those guys. And I think can be exciting for our fans if they continue to get better. He's an easy kid to root for because he's such a great kid.
And as far as like the young guys go, I was thinking about how you haven't had to rely on your freshmen at all the way you had to rely on last year's freshmen. And I know that in general in college basketball, you don't want to rely on freshmen as heavily as you had to last year. So when you have guys like Scotty and Devin who are able to learn the way they're learning right now, which isn't necessarily getting thrown into the fire a little bit, how does that help a development compared to what the guys who were freshmen had to go through last year?
I think it can really help them if they continue to just take the feedback from the game and work on playing their role at a higher level the next time they practice and the next time they play. I think if they embrace that, it can really help those guys. Freshmen can get better behind the scenes. EJ did that. Like we were saying all year his freshman year. He started to play well in practice. You guys didn't see it because he didn't always play as much as he wanted to, or just didn't give you guys an opportunity to see it. We saw it, and then come the end of the year, I think we might have had an injury, and we started playing him more, and then he just started playing better, and it was so. It's a long season in college basketball, and they've got to keep working and find a way to impact, and that's the case for all those freshmen.
Mark Sears, former Ohio U player, he's like their one big holdover, I think, from last year's team. Just what do you see with him and his role, I guess, and what he means to that team?
Yeah, really talented guard, and give Jeff a lot of credit at OU. Bowles did a great job recruiting him, great job coaching him, and I know it was tough to see him leave. He's a really good guard, and multi-year transfer, which often you see guys kind of really grow with the multi-year transfer, and big key for what they're doing. He's one of the better point guards in the country right now, and will be a great challenge.
Tyson Chapman, how close is he to full go? Is he practicing? Is there a timeline for when he might?
Yeah, Tayson's getting better. He's getting better and better, physically better. We were off yesterday, so I'll see how he is today. But I think it's just ultimately we're going to do kind of what's best for him. And even if he's physically ready, it could be a little bit before we. Before he sees, game action. We've got a rotation right now that's somewhat set, but we do want to continue to see him work in practice, and he's done a really good job with that. The most important thing for him is I think he's feeling physically better, which is just a really exciting thing for the kid, because it's a hard thing when you get to college and you've not been able to suit up as for most of the time he's been here. So now he's got some practices under his belt. Just started to come back kind of full practice. So we look forward to see his continued health get better and better.
Nate Oates, how much do you know him? Have you ever been around him or recruited or anything? And he built something there at a place that really didn't have back to when Sanderson or whatever, wasn't that great of a basketball school. Just what do you see there? What do you know about him, I suppose?
Yeah, I know Nate a little bit. Just know him a little bit because I know he spent some time up here, and Yeah, we went head to head. We went head to head recruiting on a couple guys, Malachi in particular. So, yeah, they've obviously had a great season last year, and got another really good team. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, happy Thanksgiving.